Alright, the purpose of this video is to demonstrate a capability of MACE 2020R1, which is our upcoming MACE release scheduled for the end of January, early February of 2021. And the capability I like to demonstrate is the Codescript editor that is now built into MACE. And we're going to use the Codescript to implement a behavior here in this mission. What we have set up here on the screen on the left in MACE is a small threat laydown. We've got a passive detection system of Colchuga in a radio network with some SA6 systems, and the Colchuga will detect or attempt to detect targets nearby, and we happen to have an F-18 in our mission. And the idea here is that if the passive detector detects the aircraft, then he would cue these radar systems to operate. But in a non-standard way, they will do a sort of a blinking operation where one comes on for a little while and then goes off, and then another one comes on for a little while and then goes off. And meanwhile, because these guys are all in the same communications network, they'll be sharing that track information between each other. So that's what we would expect to happen. Let's review the code script to show you how we did this. This is a new tab in this version of MACE, this plugins tab. And in addition to managing all the plugins that MACE has loaded, which, for example, you can load and unload plugins here this way, and it shows you what is active in your MACE session. So it's a much better way of managing both third-party plugins as well as extensions, which are plugins that BSI writes. But up here, we've got a code script section, and this shows all the available code scripts. We can look at this code here briefly. This is documented, and this is sample code that people can build off of. But this uses event handlers that are that BSI has built, and it gives a good example here of how to go get the mission state, how to retrieve a physical entity from inside the mission, how to change radar control from manual to automatic and vice versa, and all those kind of things. And so this is a relatively short script that we just built in a couple hours to demonstrate this blinking technique. Any third party can do this. So anyone can write code directly inside of MACE, compile it, and run it. MACE will then execute this script dynamically at runtime. So we're going to build this script. We get a little green check mark that it built successfully, and we're going to run this script. And it tells us, if you look at your MACE message window, that our event listeners have been attached. And so now I will run this mission, and we've got our F-18 proceeding towards the coast. And we can look at and see, I might even accelerate time just a little bit here. Oh, and I'll also turn on my beam viewer inside of Armor so that we can see our radar beams. Let me just make sure we get those guys on. Okay, good. And now we'll look at the, we also have some civilian airliner traffic out there, so we're waiting on Colchuga to find our F-18. Okay, he has found our F-18. And there's a range trigger as well, and so once we see that, that's all done in the script. So there's no separate, nothing other than that code script that's running. I'll accelerate time a little bit. And you can see that our track information is coming from the radar warning receiver on the Colchuga. Okay, now we have an indication here on our radar warning receiver. You see we have our first SA6 straight flush system up and operating, which you can see in the distance. And you can also see now that, here, let me go back to normal time, and we can watch the blinking take effect. So over here in Armor, you'll see the same thing. We do a couple of sweeps, and then we go to the system in the north. So we have just about 12 seconds or so on each system, which of course is set in that code script. You can put whatever time you want in. You can apply it to whichever systems that you want to apply it to. And then these radar systems, again, sharing track information with each other. If I look here, you can see that the track confidence is being updated, and the information is coming from both SA6s. So this is an example And of course, now the F-18 is doing his defensive maneuver because he detects the track beam and that he's inside the miss. All right, so that's the purpose of this video. And if you have any questions about that, remember you can always contact us at support@bssim.com. Thanks.